Greetings. I think we're live now, and I'm just finishing off my quite involved preparations for returning to Vietnam. Done almost everything. Got the airline ticket, blah, blah, blah. I've got to get the test yet. There are two tests. If you're traveling long haul, you probably need the PCR test 72 hours before departure. Or if it's just short haul, you can get a RAT. Is that a rapid antigen test? I'm getting mine on the morning of the travel. What else do we need? We need insurance. Now, I had heard that you can get the $10,000 medical coverage for COVID at the airport on arrival in Vietnam. That's 10,000 US dollars insurance for 30 US dollars. But I've looked at some insurance companies online. There's a Vietnamese company called Luma. I went to theirs. They said $80. But then actually when I clicked on there, it wasn't that the initial offer wasn't immediately apparent, but rather, different plans, which of course cost more. And that was for 30 days coverage that I think it was $40 US for 30 days coverage. Whereas the thing that I'd seen at the airport was 30 days coverage for $30. So I've still got to work through that. My main worry about that is that possibly the information I had wrong was about the airport, and I arrive at the airport and I'm prepared to buy the insurance and I have the money on me in US dollars, which they'll want. And they say, well, actually, no, we're not selling it here. You have to buy it. Go back to Phnom Penh. And there's another part of that. When I applied for my e-visa, I'd complained about this in an earlier one of these Go Live streamings, that it gave the option of how you leave, where you're going to leave. And it did say Moc Bai, the land border from Moc Bai to Ba Viet in Cambodia. So I put that because it's simpler, assuming that. And I'd sort of done a run through on the Mekong Express, one of the international bus services, and it seemed like they were offering tickets on that day. So I put on my e-visa that I'd leave through Moc Bai, and then later I went back to Mekong Express and it kept breaking down, but it didn't say anything. And so I went to like Bookaway and other sites, and they said no travel being offered for booking. But they also said no flights being offered, but flights are being offered on other sites. So what's going on with Bookaway? Maybe I should have gone. I did go to Cambo Ticket. Actually, they also said no long distance bus services. Now, if you see the live stream I did before this, there are local bus services. There's the bus number, it's number 703. It's a blue bus that you get from Ho Chi Minh City, not far from Bui Vien, I forget the name of the street, La Phao Phu or something like that, right next to that park that is built on the old railway station. There's a sort of a bus terminal there. If you know Ho Chi Minh City, you'll know where that is. Just catch that bus there. That'll get you to the border in 3 hours, but you can't book online. And what they want to say, if they ask, do you have a ticket out? And you say no. Well, why not? Why are you coming here for 30 days? There's no ticket out. Oh, because I can catch a bus or I can catch a Marling taxi down there. If I want, no, you need to have a ticket. So I can imagine that sort of thing happening. So I'm probably going to buy an airplane ticket to leave, but that creates another problem in that they asked where I would leave Vietnam, and I said Moc Bai. Whereas now, if I got the airline ticket, I wouldn't be leaving from Moc Bai. I'd be leaving from the airport. Now, that could put me in violation of my e-visa, the terms of my e-visa, because they do say, you can't fool around with this thing. You follow the rules in Vietnam, no problem. They're simple enough. But, and this is the problem that I said, when you have to get the visa before you get the tickets. And, information is sketchy at best on some of these things. So that's what we're coming down to. Now, the thing with the what was the ticket? Oh, the insurance. It reminds me of when I was driving around in the US, maybe driving all night. You come to some town early in the morning, tired, you want to eat, have a sleep. So you go past these breakfast places. They might say breakfast. I'm talking 20 years ago. Okay, so I don't know what the prices are now, 20, 25 years ago. And you say breakfast $3.50, and you go, I can probably do better than that. And eventually you're going along and you get to a place where it says breakfast $1.99, small greasy spoon, not very stylish, but you think, okay, I'll go for that. Or it says breakfast plate $1.99. I'm exaggerating very, very slightly, just very slightly. Breakfast plate $1.99. So you go and you sit down and you say, I'd like a breakfast. So, okay, you want the breakfast plate? Yes. Okay, good. Now, you want food on that plate? Well, yes. Okay, let's write it down, 50 cents. So we've got our $1.99. We're going to put food on there. That's 50 cents extra. Now, what sort of food do you want? Oh, I'll get some eggs, 2 eggs. 2 eggs. How do you want them? Scrambled. Okay, that's 50 cents more. And you want toast with that? Well, yes. Okay. Okay, 50 cents more. White, do you want white rye or what was the other? That was, ask you 3 types of bread. I forget now. But anyway, they throw that in for free. You've already paid for the toast. You're not going to pay extra for your choice of what sort of toast you want. Wheat toast, white toast, rye bread. You want a coffee with that? Oh, no, wait. You want toast? You want butter with that toast? Yes. Okay, 50 cents. And you want a spread with that, like what? Or marmalade, strawberry jam, peanut butter, whatever. Marmalade, okay, 50 cents. And you want a coffee. What sort of coffee is it? Well, it's that stuff we brew up in a pot, 1970s style. It'll taste disgusting for sure. Okay, 50 cents. And you want milk with that coffee? Yes, 50 cents. Okay. Well, you get the story. You want sugar? Blah, blah, and it goes on. So what do we play? Let's have a look with my... Oh, I don't even know if I want to do this because I'll show you why. You've got to have a Vietnam health app. So I got the Vietnam health declaration. This is on my Vietnamese phone, made in Vietnam. My Vietnamese, okay, so I go to install, blah, blah. You've got to have this. When you're in Vietnam, it's going to everywhere you go. You've got to swipe in. Okay, no problem, I'll download it. I'll save you the trouble. This is about my 4th attempt to download it and it won't download. So at the airport, I'm just going to give the phone to the person and say, you put it on, even if I have to pay 50 cents extra, 50 cents US we're talking about. Now let's go. David Weston, if you're watching this, you'll be horrified that I'm actually going to, whoops, a daisy. No, I don't want that. I don't want this. I don't want, my God. What was I doing? I've forgotten. I got so caught up with the bureaucracy of my smartphone. What do I want? Oh, I know what I want. Calculator. So we've got our $1.99 breakfast plate. So that is, whoops, we're going to go back 1 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50 plus 50. Well, I've forgotten 50. We'll just say that. That's around about it. So our something went wrong there. Should we go back and start again? Sometimes everything goes wrong, so we go 1.99 plus, oh, I know what I've done wrong, 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 plus 0.5. Anyway, let's say when we've gone through that didn't work. It didn't work for me, or I couldn't work. Operator malfunction. A feature of all my videos, operator malfunction. So, your $1.99 breakfast plate ends up costing between $4 and $5, and it's not going to be as good as the $3.50 one you saw initially. So that's what's happening. Everywhere I go, even for the test. When I first went to this place, it was antigen. PCR was $120. I said, well, Vietnam's done away with that. I can just get the 24-hour test antigen. No. Okay, so then I went back again. We went through it again. No. But the third time they said yes. Okay, so I was able to save that money. But you may have to negotiate and say, if you're flying long haul, you're going to need the PCR test. But if it's just a short haul flight, your 24-hour antigen will get you will get you through at least one part of the process of entering Vietnam. Oh, I wanted to do a big. People say, when you travel, you've got to look out, you're going to be robbed. And they're always meaning like you get robbed on the street. Well, that can happen. But you're more likely to get robbed by the travel agents, the airlines, especially at the airports. We end up paying $12 for something that would normally cost you $4. They really lay it on. And if you're on a long haul flight, say you've done an overnight, you're tired, you've got a layover for 12 hours. Sure, you can rent a room. Singapore airport I did, that was $100. I got much the same in Bangkok airport for $300. The only difference was that Bangkok, they had a window. I made a video about it called 300 Night Hotel Room at Bangkok. I later found out there are lounges you can go to that cost about $50, and they have like really comfortable recliners. And I think you get free buffet meals too. So you can go in there, maybe it's $50 for so many hours. Which seems like I will investigate that at some future date on another trip. So yes, and then when you book a cheap airline fare, you book do you want to choose your seat? Okay, you make your seat selection, so you have to pay for that. But I've always found I just say no, and then I go down and I say I want this type of seat. Oh, okay, no problem. And then there's the excess baggage allowance. There's the change policy, refund on change or not. Whether you completely lose your ticket if you need to make a change on it, or if it's cancelled. Even from COVID. So these are the dangers of travel. What else can I tell you? Also, there's two bus companies, Dan Bus Company in between Phnom Penh and Ba Viet haven't been able to investigate that. And also the Dao Phuong Bus Company between Ho Chi Minh City and Moc Bai. So I haven't been able to book. I thought maybe I could buy the local tickets, book them on the internet, but I haven't been able to do that. Because I dare say, well, I'm not even sure with the Vietnamese one, because it doesn't actually go to Moc Bai. It goes to the town closest to Moc Bai. And that might not constitute for an immigration agent the fact that you're actually leaving Vietnam through Moc Bai, through the Moc Bai portal or gate. Because at that small town, I forget its name, you then have to pick up a motorcycle taxi that would take you to the border and charge you an arm and a leg for it. You'd also have to only have very light baggage, just what you can carry as a civilian passenger. And then it might put your whole health insurance in jeopardy, because a lot of these health insurance places, they'll say, you look through, you're traveling in Asia, health insurance, and there's like, you cannot ride on a motorcycle. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, we're not paying. So, you need to be aware of all of these things. Or maybe if you pay an extra amount, then they'll cover you for being a pillion passenger on a motorcycle taxi that's ripping you off already to take you 8 kilometers or 5 miles. So, yes, so that means that the Dao Fyong bus company, even if you can buy a ticket online to show to the immigration agent, he or she may say, no, it's not going to Mok Bai. And then you'd need that ticket on the other side from Bavet to Phnom Penh. Say, well, I'm going to get a motorcycle taxi from here to Mok Bai. I'm going to walk, I'm going to cross the border, and then I'm going to get this other bus line in Cambodia and get to Phnom Penh. But that option doesn't seem to be available. So I'm looking at buying an airline ticket back to Phnom Penh because I'm going to have to leave Vietnam after 30 days. But then again, I'm worried, will I lose? I mean, because I said I'm leaving from Mok Bai, what would the Vietnamese immigration authorities say? I mean, I don't know. This has never happened before. It's what happens. It's the sort of thing that happens when you make decisions in the dark. I much prefer to arrange all my travel or all of a particular sequence of a travel, like say Ho Chi Minh to Phnom Penh, and what that may involve in between, organize all that, then get the visa. And so when they ask a question, just say, okay, duk, 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 duk. But I'm taking my time with this, so I'm not getting particularly stressed. It's been an emotional roller coaster over the past couple of months, but just pacing myself really slowly, not getting upset, and hoping for the best. And I really don't know what I'm going to do in terms of buying the insurance yet. Should I allow myself to pay extra online on the chance that they're not offering it at the airport in Saigon, although one site, which I can no longer find, had said that they were. I'd much rather buy Vietnamese government insurance than a private. I mean, even before I went to Vietnam, I looked at insurance. This was just in New Zealand. Forget about America, which was ridiculous. And I know what American insurance companies are like. They can charge you an arm and a leg, and then when you make a claim, they won't pay. But in New Zealand, I saw quotes $1,500. Well, I did about 2 weeks work on it, and I found a good one for under 450. It didn't have all the bells and whistles, but it covered what I needed. Do you need all these extras that they're throwing in? Not necessarily. So, yeah, I give insurance companies a wide berth, but unfortunately, you really are, you've got to be sort of responsible. Okay, that's all I have to say today. I hope it's helpful. Let me know if there's anything else you need to know, and I will give any more information. Now, today is the 26th of March, so this information is correct of today, the 26th of March. Things will change, and they could change unexpectedly, or rapidly. But right now, I'd be looking at April the 15th and May the 1st as likely dates for announcements on new Vietnam immigration policies, specifically the 90-day visa. I know a lot of people are interested in that, not available right now. And also, I think the 1 year and 6 months for Americans is available, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But these things, they'll all back online. I'm pretty sure that Vietnamese authorities have their own priorities and things they want to work through. There are a number of things that could happen. So I think they're being careful right now with these 15 and 30-day visas. In my case, I need to get back to Vietnam. I have many outstanding things there, and I need to deal with them as quickly as I can. And once I have established some stability, then I can begin to move forward again. But right now, I'm projecting I'm going to be feeling the effects of this right until the end of next year. It's going to put me in a position where I was at the end of 2019. So sad but true. And it hasn't all been bad. I've done lots of things I wouldn't have done, lots of interesting things and seen things. And I've gone, some things that I wouldn't have done, I have done and found that I was right in not doing them. So that was good. That was good. So Cambodia's been fantastic. I really like it. Very, very comfortable here. It's a very good place to be an expat, simply because, English is more widely spoken in Cambodia than it is in Vietnam, and they really do cater to foreigners. So you can have the full Cambodian experience, but at the point where you might want to step out, you might want to feel like you want a Western meal, roast lamb or roast beef and veggies, or bangers and mash, or pizza, or burrito, or Australian style meat pie. They're all available, and they're readily available. So you can step out of that. And I appreciate that. Of course, they cost a bit more. Yesterday I got a nice salad and a lemon soda, using real lemon, not like a lemonade. I think that was about $5, and it was like a salad with goat's cheese and tomatoes. Forget what else it had. It was a chicken, it was pulled chicken, whatever that is. It was really nice and healthy. $5, yeah. If you're buying Cambodian food, $3 is a lot to pay. But I felt like it. So I see nobody here. So I'll end this, but please leave comments and ask questions if you can. And if I can find out, I will address them in a future live stream. And I expect to be blogging again from Vietnam. So thank you and have a good day. Now, there we go. Goodbye.